should you invest in the S&P 500 or the QQQ, which represents the Nasdaq 100? So the S&P 500 has the top 10 holdings of Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google. And if you have a look at the QQQ, you have very similar top 10 holdings as well. But if you have a look at their sector weightings, you realize that the S&P 500 is a lot more diversified in many different sectors. But you have a look at the QQQ, it's very heavily weighted toward technology. 50% of the QQQ is in tech stocks. So you have a lot more exposure to technology. So what about their performance over the last 10 years? So the S&P 500 has returned about 10% per year on average over the last 10 years, which is actually pretty good. But if you have a look at the QQQ, it has returned 18% per year over the last 10 years, which is a huge overperformance compared to the S&P 500. But you have to remember, when you expose yourself to one sector, you're going to get more volatility. So should you invest in the S&P 500 or the QQQ? It really depends on what you prefer and what you want. Some people may prefer, more exposure to tech and higher potential growth at the risk of more exposure to, volatility and being exposed to just one particular sector in the economy. But if you're someone that doesn't really like that and you want something that's more diversified, then maybe the S&P 500 is something that suits you much better.